G'day guys, welcome back to the WCS Oceania and Southeast Asia Season 2 qualifiers. We have already seen our first Premier player go through, which is, can you believe it, Ryan NXZ Jones from Silicon Sports is going to be going through with a 3-2 victory over Pig.
Yeah.
Shout out to all you guys who have been watching. Thank you so much for tuning in. It's been great. Especially sorry to all of you headphone users out there, as I've just been informed that
rip in pieces.
rip in pepperonis to all you headphone users out there, because this microphone
Ouch.
actually cannot handle us, unfortunately.
No.
Especially you, because you are very loud. So if you got to calm down, mate.
It's next level.
Your fake hype is really annoying, Zeph.
Yeah, I'm sorry,
So please
man.
don't be fake hype. Just be boring and bland, please.
Hey, man.
All right?
I'm trying.
Boring, bland,
I'm doing my best.
monotonous. Yes.
Like I'm casting a weekly
We
cup.
absolutely don't want to be excited at all
no.
about these incredible hype games, because
No, man.
why would you
It's
want that? It would not be entertaining at all.
Not even a little bit. So, Iaguz vs. Blysk is going to be
Yes.
next. PVT. Can't wait.
First one for a while.
Yeah.
Ever even at this kind of level for Southeast Asia.
Yeah.
So PVT is kind of a matchup that's swung on its head a little bit in the later stages of Heart of the
Yes.
Swarm. Now, Protoss was very favored against Terran for a long time, but then Terran sort of had to figure him out.
Yeah.
Now, kind of on the world stage, Terrans are starting to fight back pretty well against Protosses.
Yeah.
I mean, I wish
say
I knew
so.
how to, because I still lose to Protosses every single time I queue.
Me
But,
too.
you know, that aside, the better players like Iaguz have been having a much easier time against Protoss, which was actually his worst matchup for a very long time.
Yes, it was.
And he's up against, I mean, we have to bring it up because we didn't bring it up in the last series, and we really should have. That Pig actually chose NXZ because NXZ is, on paper, the weaker player out of Blysk and himself. So
Yeah.
Iaguz has the stronger player here, but he is against a Protoss, which he has been doing it better against. And Blysk's PVT is a bit of a question mark for everyone that's watching here. He hasn't played one in quite a while.
Yeah, it's Iaguz has a little bit more experience, you know, obviously on a world stage in that sense, but also, you know, he's over in the Root House, he's playing in other tournaments, and he gets experience against a lot of other players, so we get a better idea of how Iaguz's TVP is actually going. But when you look at Blysk, who's someone that generally sits in C most of the time, he doesn't have necessarily the same level of experience with, you know, top tier Terrans and whatnot. So we have no idea how he's going to go. I mean, it's not going to be a walk over for Iaguz by any means.
No.
Blysk is one of the scarier players in any tournament bracket.
Well, you know, with the retirement recently of Pez from Silicon Sports, is that the frustration and Blysk are basically it for our region as the top echelon Protosses. I mean, there's Probe, there's other guys as well, which are quite good as well, but they're not here today. They didn't make it to the top 4, so frustration was very, very close to making it, but
Yes.
NXZ ending edging him out in the end.
Blysk is very, very consistent. You know, he's had a stab at getting to Challenger, I think 3 times now, and he's always made it to about 5th or 6th place, but just bowed out before he actually gets a chance to play those matches where he might qualify. So, you know, it's been a bit tough for Blysk, and he does take losses very hard, but it looks like he's finally got his head in the game because he's made it to Challenger here. He's playing for that WCS Premier seed, and we'll just have to see how he goes against Iaguz.
He didn't have the easiest run to make it here either. He had to get through King Kong, who we actually beat 2-0 to get here as well. So he is on fire right now. And without further ado, let's get into game number 1 for our second and final best of 5 for the day. Who will be our second Premier League player, and who will have to try again next season? Will it be this guy? And the bottom right here, he's actually from My Insanity. This is Blysk. Ooh, I like this intro. This one's my favorite, I think.
It's not bad.
You're allowed now, Zeph. Where you go?
And in the top left from Team Root, it's the Red Terran, Iaguz.
The Gimli Terran, the King of the Mountain. Lord of the Andals and the First Men.
Sure, he has his axe nearby. I love that thing when he takes it on stage.
So sick. Actually, if you guys have seen Mates of StarCraft recently, shout out to Infeza who put that that documentary out there. It's sort of like a recap on the wake of WCS 2012, which was basically the biggest event that's ever happened in Southeast Asia, esports-wise, or you know, for any game, let alone StarCraft. So it's been pretty interesting to have that sort of recollection because we were both there in person.
Yeah,
we experienced it firsthand, saw a bit of backstage as well. And it's really cool. So guys, head to Infeza's YouTube and check that out. Spread the word as well. You see Iaguz in there with his sick axe.
Yeah.
And that exact same venue is where Blysk traveled all the way to for ACL Sydney last year, which was a great tournament as well. But to talk about that, we can't talk about that without talking about how dejected Blysk was when he got eliminated from that tournament. You could see in his face how much StarCraft means to him.
Yeah.
When he got eliminated.
He took a very hard loss. It was one of those losses where, like, you would expect to get way further in a tournament if you were Blysk playing in it. He was one of the favorites, and he didn't actually even make it into, was it the open bracket he fell out in, or was it groups? I don't quite remember.
I think it might have actually been open bracket. I could be wrong though. It was a couple of years ago. So
it was very early on in the tournament for Blysk though, and he was just the rest of the day in silence, basically inconsolable. So that is, while it's great to see a player that has that much passion for the game, that they take a loss that hard, that does get in your head when you're playing in a high pressure scenario. You know, you can't afford to go into that sort of depression mode because you're not doing as well as you expected. You need to keep your head in the game or you're not going to have a chance.
Now, Coda is similar tile set and also similar in structure to Catalina, which means Reapers are quite good on this map. Yes. And we can see that even though Reaper openings were kind of going out of fashion in TVTB, they're back now with this sort of map pool. It's well, not in every single map on this map pool, but certainly this one. It's a very, very good opening. Blysk knows that as well. He's put the pylon right there on the ledge there. So he'll see that Reaper come in. And shouldn't be losing too much with that Mothership core coming up pretty shortly as well. We're going for a quick Nexus. One gate expand or die Tryon. That's what I learned from Protoss back in the day.
Yeah, that's it. And we're going for the reacted racks here for Iaguz while he drops his CC. And it's really going to be all about those small pokes from Iaguz, seeing what the Protoss is doing, see if he can pick off anything, pylons, probes, whatever he can in the early to mid game. Yeah, that's really nice. Like, Blysk isn't going to get his scout off now.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's an interesting decision from Blysk to send the probe out after making that Nexus. So he does lose that for pretty much for free here, and the Reaper is going to come up in the main. Mothership Core is obviously going to deny this Reaper from doing too much damage, and he'll be making he may make a Stalker pretty quickly as well, as is tend to do in PvT. But Iaguz may get another drone. No, he doesn't get the probe kill. Oh, don't lose the Reaper, man. Losing the Reaper in the early game is pretty devastating. It was one shot away.
It's, like you said, it's a pretty good map for Reaper, so keeping that alive is actually really important. It's going to be his key to getting into that base and seeing what Blysk is doing, because I'm not sure how well-versed Iaguz is in terms of Blysk's playstyle, because these guys don't face up against each other very often, if at all, in tournaments. So we'll have to see how it goes, and it is going to be the Twilight Council here from Blysk.
Now, it'll be interesting to see. Now, we saw CJ Hero likes the style where you go for Blink and then follow it up with a Dark Shrine and really tear apart the Terran with two fronts, where you go for a Warp Prison drop with your DTs or just straight up walk them in while going for Blink pressure in the front. So the Terran is forced to be defensive on two fronts. He has to make 3 turrets on his production, his mineral lines to defend against DTs and also hold the bunkers against Blink, which is such a strong build. And Blysk certainly is a huge fan of CJ Hero. I know he has. He said it himself. Yeah. And this Reaper from Iaguz, because it is alive, gets to see that Blink getting researched here from Blysk. He's got good information in the early game. Yeah,
that's really important for Iaguz. The Reaper just surviving for a moment there, but he did see, he got to look at the natural, not that there's anything there anyway, but, he's got the full information. He's going to be coming in for a mine drop as well as his opening build here. So Blysk needs to make sure he's prepared for that. He doesn't have the robo just yet, but it is currently building, so hopefully he can either pick that off before it manages to get its little claws in the ground.
Well, maybe, but the Winter Mine drops have been very effective for Terrans in this matchup. It's pretty much how they win this game the quickest, is to get those Winter Mines into the probe lines, kill a whole bunch of probes, and then just power on through with superior economy. I guess getting his engineering bay as well at the appropriate time. As you would imagine, his turrets and the DT follow-up is certainly a risk here still, with his medevac bloating up a couple mines here, so the drop will happen now. He's not hitting on two fronts, just the one drop, because he's pushing out as soon as possible. And he's switching it over for the Tech Labs as well, so...
Yeah. Pretty standard play from Iaguz. I don't think he does anything crazy in TVP ever. It's just kind of like this is one of his favorite openings. And then just go into your usual, you've got 3 racks you're pumping out bio, and then you're just looking for trades against the Protoss for the rest of the time being. Man, you called it. You're a genius.
Oh, I can just go home now. There's that Dark Shrine going down for Blysk, and there's the mine drop from Iaguz. How much damage can he do here? One gets down. Blysk not reacting at all. Oh my god, there he goes. Just in time, only loses 2 probes. He's very lucky there. He only lost 2.
The other one will die. Let's see.
The observer here. Oh my, wow.
Whoa, okay.
Sorry, headphone users. I could hear that that crackle there, but geez. He's gotten a lot more probe kills than I thought he would, that's for sure. 8 going down here, so that's not very good for Blysk, because he's going for an extremely expensive opening here, and he needs all that income to be able to make as many Blink Stalkers and DTs as possible. And I guess a bit of a supply block here. Just finishing up now, he's making those 2 supply depots back at home.
Yeah, all right. Well, that Warp Prism is coming out. Let's see if he can actually get any damage done. Iaguz looks pretty well prepared on the DT front. He's got his detection in the natural. He can always dump one in the main later on, but he should be relatively okay for scans. I mean, he'll have one eventually, even if he doesn't as soon as the DT's hit. But So the Warp Prism is actually really nice for Blysk here because he will be able to circumvent that first turret. Yeah, we'll have to see how Iaguz goes defending this. I wonder how good of an idea he has of what exactly Blysk has gone for here, because he's got really good information. But has he seen the Dark Shrine?
Well, the fact that he hasn't been attacked by Blinkstalkers just yet may trigger the fact that that Blysk is waiting for that extra tech here, and this Warp Prism is heading across the map. This is going to be the DT Warp Prism. We'll see how much damage he can get done. Iaguz is pretty well set up back at home, so he's probably going to be okay here, but he's actually moving out with all his units, so he'll have to deal with reinforcements from the barracks to deal with whatever gets dropped in his main here.
Yeah,
Iaguz actually putting on the aggression, which is not really what's supposed to happen here. It's meant to be Blysk aggressing with these Blinkstalkers.
Blysk seems to have changed his mind. He's gone for the Colossus Den, and he's gone, I think he dropped a double forge as well, so he's gone for the longer game here, looking towards that third base, dropping a pylon down there as well in preparation. Looks like Iaguz will have a pretty good chance at defending that. But you're absolutely right. He's going to have to pay attention to what's going on in his main, and will he have to pull back?
So, I mean, he'll have to pull back here. Zealots are very annoying to deal with. They're very tanky. Doesn't have any upgrades on the Zealots just yet, so the reinforcements will be more than enough to deal with them. And he actually only lost 2 SCVs there, so that's not too bad. Oh, nearly a third.
So he actually cancelled the DT Shrine, didn't he?
Yeah, it looks like it.
Yeah, so he's just completely changed plans. Iaguz got a lot of information, got the 8 probe kills, and I guess Blysk has adapted given what has happened here. Can he snipe anything?
This Colossus is actually in big trouble, but it does force field the bio away, and Iaguz didn't target fire there, but the third Nexus is certainly in a spot of bother here. The bio can snipe that on the way through.
Getting the Mothership core is quite nice for himself as well. He should be able to...
Oh, he's actually not going to get it because he reacted too late. He's going to lose medevac too. Great pickoff here from Blysk.
Yeah. That evens it up a little bit for having lost that earlier Mothership core. And, he might actually find the Warp Prism here if Blysk isn't too careful. He'll be able to pick that off, and that'll be a nice one for Iaguz. Is he paying attention?
It doesn't look like he is. Blysk is, though.
Yeah, he sure is. Oh, he sees it last minute.
Too late.
That's going to be annoying for him. Like, gosh darn it, I could have gotten that out of the way.
Gosh darn it, indeed. Now, the supplies here we have to talk about. Iaguz has a lot more army supply than Blysk. But that said, though, he's not doing anything with it just yet. And army supply that's not doing anything is not really that helpful.
No.
So a lot of the supply lead is a little bit deceiving here. The Warp Prism is looking in for another warp in. Iaguz once again just missing on the outside here. A little bit unfortunate for him. This time he's warping in a couple more Zealots, just the 2, and going for the pickup.
Yeah, he's actually going to find it. Will he be able to get rid of it?
Oh, bound.
What?
Oh, wow. She is one shot away from dead.
Oh, no, it's going to hit the mine. Oh, my God. Okay.
And that's between a rock and a hard place.
He gets out of there just in time.
All right, so doesn't have to worry about that Warp Prism anymore, which is nice.
Yeah.
But Blysk is getting up there with the upgrades. He's got 1, 1, 2, 2 on the way. And Iaguz is just getting... He's got +1 attack, and that's it. So he's getting +1 armor, +2 attack on the way, and he's just going for the straight, the regular TVP sort of matchup here, where you're going for the Marauders, the Marines, the Medevacs, and switching it into Ghosts eventually if required, or Vikings, which we've already seen being produced by Iaguz.
Yeah.
He knows that Colossus is something that he has to deal with pretty shortly.
For sure. He's not going to commit too heavily to that, though. He's got a lot coming across the map.
Going for 2 fronts here. He's going to drop into the main while attacking onto the third. Scans in. He's going to see if he can get some damage done. There are 3 Colossus here.
Picks up a couple of sentries very quickly, but he's coming from behind. He's going to try and snipe the Colossi.
He's actually 2 fronts. He's not dropping the main at all. He's going to get 1 Colossus here. A reinforcement from Blysk with Blinkstalkers, and a Colossus coming up will actually clean this up. And he's going to lose 2 medevacs for 1 Colossus. And Blysk actually cleans that up pretty well, I got to say. Yeah,
that didn't go as well as Iaguz would have hoped. And this is very much what mid-game TVP is all about, though. You want to be picking off those Colossi wherever you can. Any units that you get is great, because you want to delay making those Vikings until you've got a nice medevac count, because you can see he still wants to focus on those medevacs for the time being. He doesn't want to go for Vikings yet, so his game plan here is to try and stop Blysk from getting that crazy, scary, maxed out Protoss army while he's still setting up.
Now, normally macro is something that we can talk about with Iaguz, because his macro is pretty much flawless. He's a very, very, very good macro player, always keeps his money low, but Blysk is also doing a great job as well. Both players macroing extremely well after that sort of sticky early game for Blysk where he lost a lot of punch probes, but Blysk is getting up to that scary, scary splash damage stacking sort of part of PvT where you get the Colossus and you get Templar with Storm, and that forces Iaguz to switch up tech into Ghost as well. But he is going for a very, very big drop in the main here, and we'll see. Blysk actually doesn't have an observer spotting this, so this will go in undetected. And how much will he get? How much will he lose here to this drop?
It looks like he might lose a lot. Bear in mind as well, as this goes down, he's got another force rallying on the left-hand side of the map, so he might end up hitting in 2 places. Once this Nexus looks like it's going to go down.
Big hit here, getting the Nexus and a whole bunch of probes in the main. Very, very effective from Iaguz, and he didn't even lose any medevacs, only lost a handful of bio units, so that's an incredibly good trade. He's pushing in this third, nothing going to get done here, but that's okay. Iaguz is going to be very, very happy with that drop.
Oh, he's going to be stoked with that. I mean, he's got his 4th base up already. He had the 3rd base earlier than Blysk as well, so his economy is looking beautiful. Look at those minerals flooding in.
He's an incredibly great spot here. Up 30 supply. A lot of it is army, but also workers as well, and with the mule upgrades, with the mules, and the fact that his Ghost Academy is on the way, he's going to be all set for whatever Blysk has to throw at him. He's going to have way more units.
I'm actually wondering if Blysk is going to get to throw anything at him at all, or if Iaguz is going to keep throwing himself at Blysk's army, because he's getting Vikings for at a time. There's not enough Colossi to really contest that. His army isn't as scary as Iaguz's right now.
He wants to go for a Gimli sandwich here.
Storm is here, though, for Blysk at the very least. If he places those nicely, he might screw up how Iaguz wants to try and engage this, so... It's all about posturing for the time being, seeing if you can pick anything
He's really channeling CJ Hero here with some aggressive blink forwards. Luckily didn't lose too many Stalkers. The Zealots and the Colossus are bullying back the bio. Not that much Vikings in the sky. Actually, big storm on a lot of the bio of Iaguz. And Blysk is going to push him back for now. But his natural is under siege. The natural Nexus being picked up by Iaguz. Are we watching Polt here? The Nexus sniper. He's taken the natural and the main down. And it's only just been remade in the main for Blysk.
Oh, and he's going to get a Colossi as well. There's nothing here to protect it. He's going to stim and run after that. Probes in the firing line as well.
And even losing those units, he doesn't even matter. But that said, though, this planetary is going to be his line of defense against this counterattack with Blysk, and Blysk needs to do damage with the counterattack here because Iaguz is skyrocketing ahead with units, with the upgrades, and with the economy.
He absolutely is. I'm not sure what's going on in the top right there, but he's got a few units coming in as well.
Run by.
This is what Blysk needs to do. He needs to pull Iaguz in a couple of directions at once because Iaguz's army altogether is a force that Blysk cannot contend with his own army.
This is actually very, very smart and effective by the looks of it as well. 7, 8 SCVs and counting, 10 going down. And meanwhile, Blysk looking like he's posturing at this planetary as well. He's losing so many. That storm bit whipped there. Nice storm, a better storm there. The ghosts are in play, and the Colossus are going to go down. And that's it for Blysk's army here. And even though Iaguz has lost a whole ton of SCVs, how does Blysk recover being 70 army supply down? A counterattack's going to be devastating.
Iaguz is just so ahead at this point. He didn't even pull those SCVs. He didn't care.
Need to.
He knew how ahead he was. He's killed 2 Nexi. He's put the pressures on the entire game. Against Blysk, and he can't really do anything about it. He's run out of options. Even his harass is being shut down now.
His army is 80 supply up on Blysk, and his upgrades are better as well. With +3 attack just about to finish, a counterattack, as I said, I just cannot see Blysk holding it here. I really cannot. He's got a lot of splash damage. He'd have to have the best storms of his life and keep all of his Colossus alive to somehow trade well against this incredibly scary and heavily upgraded Bioball.
Oh man, +3 attack just finished as well. So this is a beautiful window for Iaguz to attack in. If he wasn't even already ahead, like this way this is lined up, he's still got so many Vikings left over that he didn't really even have to remake any after that engagement. Nice storm.
Big storm there. Does get a bunch of Marines low, but none of them died, which means the medevacs can replace them. They have a fair bit of energy.
It's a couple of Marauders simming forward, seeing what they can find. I'm going to try and grab
a storm
that
on
Templar.
2 Marauders. That's exactly the baits that Iaguz wants. Empty out those Templar tanks. So there's another storm on 2 Marauders. Blysk, you need to save those storms for the big ball, buddy, and here it comes.
He's panicking a little bit. Another Templar
that's a better one.
Taken down. He does have to back up a little bit, but he's going for it.
He's just got too much here. He's going to stem through and try and kill Blysk right here, right now. A lot of the Zealots are just evaporating, and the Colossus are dying to the Vikings in the back, and that's going to be it for Blysk. GG! Iaguz wins game number 1.
Very well done. Quite convincing for Iaguz there. I do like Blysk's choice earlier on to switch up his build once everything got scouted. But, you know, that didn't quite work out for him. So maybe he's got something else planned in game number 2 to hopefully even it up to the 1-1 score. He doesn't want to go down 0-2. That's quite a scary situation to be in.
Not against Iaguz, that's for sure, because it's going to be very, very tough. That said, I do recall a couple situations where Iaguz has been down up 2-0 at a best of 5 and then somehow losing at best of 5. Shout out to Nest T if he's watching right now.
Old mate Nest T.
I'm sure he is.
I'm sure that's a stinging memory for Iaguz there. He's not going to let it happen here.
And for Iaguz fans, a very stinging memory. Because it's all about us. Like, we're the most, let's be real here. The fans are what this is all about. I mean, sure, it's the players' livelihoods and, their job, but,
we're emotionally invested,
guys. Well. we're the real victims here. Yeah, I mean, come on.
Yeah.
So our second game is going to be on Vaani Research Station. This is actually something, if he wants to go full CJ Hero here, we might actually see some Colossus drops on this map.
Yeah, if he wants
to go for the single Colossus and the Warp Prism drop, because that back natural is very, very hard to deal with as a Terran when you're dropping Colossus in there. It's actually a weird thing because you haven't seen it since a long time. It's just sort of appeared in the Korean scene. So it'd be interesting. And like we mentioned, Blysk is the guy that adopts styles from other players and sort of like he has plans for every map against every race. He's a very, very planned out player. Unfortunately, his plan didn't go to fruition in game number 1 against Iaguz. Will it happen in game number 2? Let's get into it, guys. Vaani Research Station, our next battleground between these two heavyweights. And Blysk's being a bit of a sneaky sausage here with a very early probe. But anyway, let's introduce him. This is my Insanity's Blysk. Actually, I think this is my favorite intro. I take it back. This one's way better.
And in the north, he's the red Terran on Team Root. It's Iaguz.
Oh, yes. And it's looking like he's about to have to deal with some proxy shenaniganry from Blysk.
Yeah.
Dirty, dirty dog.
Well, he did kind of call it. It was going to be shenaniganry, just of a different kind to Colossus drop. Blysk, he comes into every match with a plan. He knows what he's going to do every map against every player that is really scary to him. So in that sense, I think that might have been what threw him off in game number 1, because once his plan isn't working, he tends to flounder a little bit sometimes. So in this case, he's going for something super risky, but it might be his turn to make Iaguz flounder a little bit and go, oh man, I wasn't expecting this from you. Like, Blysk is not a known cheeser.
Well, the Achilles heel of Iaguz, if I want to throw that out there, is cheesy Protosses.
Yes.
Standard Protosses. Standard Protosses. We just saw in game number 1 what he does against standard Protosses.
Yes.
Well, bam! The backhand. But he is up against cheese. People like Arthur. People like Lobo. They are people that have pulled upsets against Iaguz because they pull the fast one. They make they trick him with proxies. They trick him with something, and this is Blysk trying to trick Iaguz. Will it work for him?
Yeah, we'll have to find out. I mean, it's a great way to go for Blysk because, as we mentioned earlier, Iaguz's TVP used to be his worst matchup, and part of that was because our region often ended up playing against a lot of the Chinese players, and their Protoss players know their all-ins so well, and they were just deadly. Yeah, we're
talking about Jim and Max said here, like even if they got up to the Phoenix Colossus, that was a really difficult unit composition for Terrans to deal with back in the day. Iaguz doesn't have to deal with that now. He's actually scouting here with this SCV, looking for proxies, but Blysk has got it in a little bit of a weird position. Iaguz may indeed scout it, but it doesn't look like it just yet.
Yeah, that's the one thing about this map. That's the obvious place to put your proxy, but because everyone does it, everyone scouts there. So they scout that and they're like, I think I'm okay.
He's actually going to see it with this Marine.
Oh my gosh.
He does see it. So Iaguz now has to deal with this proxy. Only one Zealot, but the Zealot has to go. Because Iaguz is going to plug this hole as soon as possible. There's the bunker going down, but obviously the Zealot does quite a lot of damage for a tier 1 unit, but the SCVs are being pulled. Iaguz is taking this very seriously here.
He gets us around. He's trying to micro his SCVs. He will lose a few. He's gone down 4 already.
Doesn't want to lose the Marines, though. The Marines are the important part. They're the attacking unit. The probe's going to go down. And this one Zealot will go down as well. 4 SCV kills, not too bad, but this is actually terrible for Blysk now. I mean, he can push with his Stalker. The Stalker can be very, very annoying in the middle in the early game, but he's going to have the bunker. He has more than enough SCVs to pull to repair if need be. It's not like the Stalker has blink. It's a very short entrance, a small entrance, sorry, the ramp to the main. So, I mean, what's Blysk going to do here?
He's stuck. He can send the Stalker home, or he could use it as a really soft contain, I guess, but Iaguz isn't going to be too worried about leaving his base for the moment. He's going up to that starport again. He's got his factory. It looks like a mine drop is on the menu once again. I mean, this is his favorite opening in TVP by the looks of it. He seems to do it every game.
For a lot of Terrans, yeah.
Yeah, and then just go back into your usual 3 racks bio play. And this is probably not exactly the start that Blysk wanted.
I would say that he definitely did not want this start.
Unless he really wants to like impress him. Like,
you see how the clock's still ticking in this game? That's what Blysk didn't want in this game. So Iaguz is in a great spot here, having held that. He lost 4 SCVs, which is a little bit more than he possibly could have, but that's nitpicking here. He's actually losing that other one kind of sucks, but he is definitely in a great spot. He is more than enough to prepare against any kind of early aggression. But Blysk is going to try and get a fast Stargate here, no doubt for the Oracle, to try and cut into the case that Iaguz may be out on the map. He may not be at home. Sometimes you can get a few more SCV kills and try and even the scale a little bit.
Yeah, I was actually wondering how often Blysk would pull this out in this best of 5, because Oracle obviously still a great opener for any Protoss against a Terran. And it can certainly catch anybody out. It gives you a bit of map control. It cleans up the odd unit here and there. But more importantly, you can get a lot of damage done. And it's one of those units where you'll always pick off something.
Yeah.
So really nice choice for him to go for it here, as you mentioned. Widowmine drop's going to come in, but man, he's just so prepared for this Oracle.
He's already prepared. He smells it in the wind. His star sense is a little bit too good, which is really amazing because considering the amount of hair he has under his nose. He is still managing to tell that, in fact, Blysk is going for this follow-up, and the Marines will be fine in the main. The Natural doesn't have many SCVs out at all, if any, so it's not something he has to worry about there.
Yeah, and I mean, at the same time, though, Blysk is well prepared for this drop.
That's his detection for the mines, by the way.
Yeah.
Flying away across the map.
Maybe a bit of a problem. But we'll see if he gets them burrowed, because he is standing in that mineral line. It makes it a little bit tricky to burrow your Widowmines when,
true.
When you drop them right
Stalkers can certainly pick them off in time, and the Medevac's actually maybe rethinking this plan. He is going to delay this CC, which is nice, or just fly past it. That's fine as well. Heading into the main, more than enough Marines to deal with this Oracle. A couple of them hurt at the back, but that's just too many Marines.
Yeah, he might have to go back to the Natural, deny that, and then head out of there for the moment. Come back in later.
Did Blysk notice that I guess there's not much you can do with it, the Stalkers, but this Widowmine's actually killed 4 probes back at home during this Oracle flyback, and they nearly lost the Oracle as well. Iaguz is going to make 1 Viking, and that Oracle goes bye-bye, and then he'll continue into a standard TVP here.
Yeah, it's... oh, no. Okay.
Just in time, but it's going to get another 2 probes. Very effective Widowmine there. To get 6 probe kills with 1 Widowmine is very, very nice.
It's going to be frustrating for Blysk. I mean, it's not huge damage, but it's still an annoyance when you've lost 4 probes. The Oracle goes down.
Goodbye, good night, Oracle. And now Iaguz doesn't have to worry about that anymore. He could even cancel the Viking, and I think he did. No, the 1 Viking did just finish.
Yeah. Oh, he can continue to use that later on. I mean, Blysk has already showed that he likes to use the Warp Prism in late game if we get there, or even in the mid game. He certainly does rely on the Warp Prism sometimes to do a sort of multi-pronged attack, but we'll see what he's going to go for. He's going for the Colossus again. It looks like a Blink Colossus I can't say composition.
Composition, yes.
That's what I wanted. Thank you.
I got your back, baby.
Yeah, so Blink Colossus composition is what he's going to be after heading into the mid-game here. Probably going to look for a 3rd once that Natural is finally kicking in for him as well.
Another Widowmine drop here. These Stalkers are in position to... Whoa, actually, be careful. This 1 Widowmine is going to do some damage. Actually, the Stalker's just going to lose 1 there. He's just out of range, but that 1 Stalker paid the price.
It's a trade.
It's not a bad trade, actually, to get... as long as he doesn't lose the medevac, that's the important part.
Anything the Widowmine does is pretty nice. I mean, like, even if you just force him to pull off the line, you've already accomplished damage.
That's damage, yeah.
These poor probes are copping it today.
And he also, along with dropping the mine, sees the Twilight Council and the Colossus Den as well, so he's all set for the Ghost Nest later on.
He is. Iaguz just seems like he plays really standard against a player like Blysk, who he doesn't know to be cheesy or anything like that, and he just gets ahead that way. Like, Blysk certainly seems on the ropes. You know, how many probes has he lost already? I mean, you have a pretty good chance of losing 1 or 2 before your Observer is out.
Well,
but
with the power of Chrono Boost and Nexus, he is actually not too bad in workers, even though he's lost a bunch of workers this game. Iaguz lost early game SCVs, but both players, like we had to talk about it at the end of game 1 there, both players very, very nice with their macro.
Yeah. Certainly the strength of both these guys. Micro, you could argue that's not always their strength, but we haven't really seen them display that yet here in this.
I mean, unfortunately, game number 1, it was kind of just I had more stuff and I killed you with it. Like, it was heavily upgraded, I had more stuff, so it was just pretty much a name. I mean, Iaguz was pulling some nice little tricks with, baiting out storms and that sort of thing, which is a little bit odd to see storms going down on 2 Marauders more than once, but yeah.
I think he got kind of stuck because he was trying to do, the Templar split so that you can come in from random angles with storms. Hopefully, he just actually catches the edge of that.
Now, Blysk has been very good with his minimap awareness, so I do believe he probably did see that. And he's going to be warping in some units back at home.
Yeah, shortly, hopefully. I mean, he's only sitting on 2 at the moment. The other thing is, was he paying attention? I think so, but...
Well, if he didn't see it, he's seen it now.
He sees it now. Yeah. Second Colossus is on the way. And it looks like Iaguz is just dipping out of there for now. There's no use trying to attack up the ramp or dropping in there at the moment because he knows that that's where Blysk is stationed.
This, and he saw it as well. So Blysk knows that that drop is on the way. He can position Blink Stalkers in and hopefully pick off a full medevac here, which really wants. But Guz is just waiting. He's waiting at the sort of the 4th location and wanting to see if he can pick off a 3rd Nexus, but there's nothing to pick off just yet. Yeah,
really great vision from Blysk on this map too. He's got the key locations where things are going to be coming in from.
Yeah, Iaguz rethinking it.
And so I wonder if he actually saw that Observer. It just happens to look at it.
Yeah, Blysk is... making a lot of... He did in the last game as well, but unfortunately there were a few blank spots for Iaguz to pull some very scary drops in. I mean, obviously that Doom drop in the middle of game number 1 put him in that incredible lead that he had. He scans and sees one observer. He's going to pick it off. And now this means that the sort of third location is a little bit sticky here. Blysk, is he paying attention? Does look like he is. He's going to... Yeah, I mean, Iaguz is pulling back when he needs to pull back, and Blysk is pulling back when he needs to pull back as well. Both players are at a bit of an impasse here, just trying to find openings in their defenses. Neither player finding a single thing, so he's just going to expand instead.
I think as soon as Blysk realizes that drop is gone, he's either going to push out or take a third. Now, how many gates is he actually at now with that extra 3 coming in? He's going to be on 6 gates, so that's plenty for a push if he wants to go for it. He's going to have a couple of Colossi out.
I feel like...
3, I think.
Yeah, he could go for a push, but Blysk has been showing, like, at least at game number 1, maybe because of the way that Iaguz was playing that game, that he would prefer to go for a third. It certainly looks like it. The scan going down here, and Blysk hiding that probe, doesn't want to give too much away. Wants to make Iaguz scared of a 2-base attack.
Yeah, I mean, it's working. Like, look at Iaguz just dancing backwards and forwards, constantly poking around. He's trying to threaten him while he gets his own third base up, because he knows my time on 2 bases certainly run out. I need a third base if I'm going to hold whatever you're going to throw at it.
We've got an armory going down here, so no boys will be pulled this day. Well, not in this game anyway. It's going to go up to +2. And, I mean, this map's not really good for a boys pull anyway, unless you're just trying to win the game here at the where Insano's showing us in the camera right now, because you have that tiny little choke, and with Colossus and Protoss in general being very good at splash damage, that tiny little ramp there with SCVs ain't so bueno.
No, certainly not. I mean, Blysk, as usual, is going for his third base. I mean, you called it, that's what he's going to do. And Blysk is always very much a third base Protoss. He doesn't like 2-basing a lot. It's more, I have a specific build for a specific map when he does do a 2-base.
He's going to like Legacy of the Void a lot.
Yeah, I think
being
he
forced
is.
to win 3 bases.
He certainly is.
I guess already all over. He's making a lot of Vikings here with the +1 attack of the Vikings as well.
Yeah.
So.
We see him switch over to that a little bit earlier than in the last game, actually, because at this game he hasn't had any chance to really pick anything off from the army of Blysk, unlike the first game. But we'll see how this drop goes. I mean, it's kind of scary angle to come in from, going behind the natural and then straight into the main.
Yeah. Blysk's entire army, I believe, is out here at the third location. So Iaguz actually has room to be able to swing around behind the third into the main if he wants to. He will scan and see that there is no observer there, so there is a little bit of an opening.
Yeah. Well,
and this dropship is waiting for his attack.
Right, in it comes.
No, it's not. In it goes.
The main army also going to close in at the third at the same time, but Blysk is in position for this attack at the very least.
Absolutely. And Iaguz hasn't gotten too much done on this attack. He's actually losing a lot of units here and pulling back with his main force. So actually a good hold from Blysk.
Yeah, that did not go according to plan.
No, not at all. That was a great trade for Blysk.
Yeah. Really nicely deflected. He didn't lose anything too important there either. So
once again, though, Iaguz just with so much more army supply than Blysk. His macro has been incredible. Ghost Academy switch up now. You obviously saw the Templar Archives when he dropped there, so he's ready for the switch up. He's not going to make too many more Vikings. It'd be an overcommittal to keep making Vikings at this point. He has the one that's going to finish off, but he'll be all set against Colossus.
It's kind of like 2 or 3 Vikings per Colossus, and then the rest is just Marauders. And hopefully you can get a good engagement, pick off some of the key units in there, whether they be Templar or Colossi. It's all about reducing that splash before you actually have to have that head-on collision with the Protoss army. I have to say, though, on this map, it does allow the Terran a lot of opportunities to get a really nice concave against the Protoss army if you catch him in the right spot. So Blysk might need to be a little bit careful with that.
Iaguz is going to go for a +2 timing attack here, and this is actually going to be very scary because Blysk only has +1.
Oh, yeah.
Here we go.
Good point. All right.
He's not stimming in just yet. The Vikings taking some free shots. Yeah, there we go. Maybe get one Colossus here. Spreading his units out into a concave. Here comes Blysk forces. The charge lots going through. Only a couple charge lots, actually. And he's just going to get barreled over by the superior numbers of Iaguz here. Once again, Blysk has been outgunned and out-macroed here. Another Colossus going down. Storm's going down, not being good enough. And Blysk is in a terrible spot at this point. He's down 60 army supply. Iaguz just has too much Zeph.
Fantastic move from Iaguz. He is delivering a very swift killing blow to Blysk here in game number 2. This is not what Blysk wants happening here at GG.
Definitely did not want to be 2 games down against Iaguz, the Premier League Terran.
Yeah, it's a little weird, like, especially coming off the hype from the last best of 5. Like, I expected Blysk to be
He is the stronger player, but NXZ just really knocking our heads around here. Like, it's
a little bit closer to Iaguz's skill level as well. So it's been interesting. Like, I wonder if something's thrown him off.
Well, he's an emotional player, as we've mentioned before. This is the biggest and most prestigious thing that he's ever been in. This is the most money he's ever made from a tournament. So the pressure could be getting to him for sure.
Yeah, this is not the best I've seen Blysk play, but, you know, it's not over yet, obviously. No. We still have potential 3 more games to decide a winner here.
We have seen Iaguz lose best of 5 from this point.
And Blysk is certainly a guy that if he gets his head straight and he's like, right, I need to make it happen here and now, he certainly will do it. So we'll see what he's got planned here for Echo, which is going to be our 3rd map.
That's right. We haven't seen this one just yet.
No, it's the first time for today.
Rocking that Protoss tile set that I wanted to see a whole lot more of in Heart of the Swarm. I actually loved it when Heart of the Swarm was released and they had that. They introduced the whole Protoss spaceship tile set. I liked it a lot. Unfortunately, the maps on it were garbage. But this one, this one looks pretty nice.
It's not too bad so far. The 3rd is a bit awkward to hold, but we'll see how it goes, what the players have planned for game number 3 here. Let's hop into it and introduce these players.
It's all you, Zeph. Where you go?
In the bottom right, from My Insanity, he needs to start bringing it back. It's Blysk.
That's it. 20 life is on the line here. This is make or break, dream or broken dream for Blysk. And in the top left, we'll be feeling very comfortable here. This is Roots Iaguz. All right, so we'll have to see. No crazy shenaniganry from Blysk. No proxies this game.
Good.
I liked it is good, but I liked that he went for it, though.
Yes,
we talked about how we keep bringing it up, how he is a planned player, and no doubt he's got one in store here. But thankfully, that is not a proxy gateway.
Yeah. And just to touch on Blysk again, like making it to Challenger, how much that meant to him. Like, he was over the moon when he qualified for Challenger. You see his Twitter, he was so stoked to be here finally after like 3 or maybe 4 attempts at getting into it.
He was like red-eyed and almost in tears at ACL Sydney when he lost. StarCraft means so much to him. For him to be this far is so good because you know that he knows that he deserves to be here. Everyone deserves to be here in this round of 4. There's no argument to that whatsoever.
Yeah.
And whoever wins deserves to be in Premier, absolutely 100% as well. But Blysk is not going to be happy with this. The thing is, when it's the human condition, you get a little bit and you're like, I want more. I want to be in Premier. He wants that upset. But no doubt he'd be very happy with himself, and he should be as well.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, Iaguz wants to go back as well. He didn't perform quite as well as Pig did in Premier last time. But, you know, he's certainly got what it takes. He's been on that stage a few times now in international tournaments. I mean, not just WCS, he's been in IEMs as well and done very well there. So I think it's kind of like an experience thing for Iaguz to get used to playing in that scenario to make sure he gets ahead. And
never mind that shenaniganry, Cole Zeph.
Yeah.
You might be seeing a Stargate here. Something sneaky.
Yes, indeed. I don't mind this from Blysk. It's a smart move to go for something like this because I like to scout all the areas on these maps, especially these newer maps.
Yeah, like exactly.
You can see Iaguz is already trying to figure out where he might play something like that.
Where that, Proxy?
Yeah.
Where that? And there's the Stargate. So Proxy Oracle here from Blysk, and this could be very, very tough for Iaguz. Look how short the distance is from the Stargate to the main.
Oh man, it's so close. It's going to be brutal once it gets in there.
Yeah, it's actually it's looking like it's going to be extremely effective, actually. But Iaguz is dropping an extra barracks. It's not a straight-up factory follow-up. So we'll have a few more Marines, but you're going to have more. Oh my god, Iaguz. Iaguz is so good. NG Bay already on the way anyway.
I feel like
reading Blysk like a book. Actually, did he? Yes, he did. Okay.
Yeah, so this is already going a little bit pear-shaped for Blysk. Unfortunate that he's had this scouted.
You have to drop a bunker in your mineral line at this point. The NG Bay is not enough, and you don't have enough Marines as well. So good decision from Iaguz as well. You know, he knows exactly how to deal with this, and Blysk may even just he's going to make the Oracle anyway and see what he can get done. But it doesn't. It's switched around. I was going to say it looked like it's going to do a lot of damage. Now it looks like it's going to do absolutely nothing. Yeah,
I think it's just that little bit too late. Marines do have to come back here. I mean, will it pop before? No, it won't pop before that missile turret does. So Iaguz should be absolutely comfortable here. Not really anything to worry about. This Stalker's a bit of a pest, but it's not going to be able to do too much. I mean, he'll be able to push that away once the Oracle is dealt with.
Now, when I say nothing, Oracles always do a little bit of damage, but they need to do more than a couple SCV kills to be worth it here. The Marines all pulling back. Looks like he might get an SCV killing, just trying to make an extra barracks here at the back. Does deny that. Oh, Oracle does need to pull back. I like that this bunker here is very, very good. Wow. Stalker's not going to be able to pressure into the main.
He actually forces him to go back to his main. That's pretty good.
There's nothing you can do about it. You can't unload your Marines and send them down here because then the Oracle's a huge risk or even a walk by.
You cheeky man, Blysk. He's going for 3 more gates, grabbing that blink as well. Yeah, and chronoing that out like there's no tomorrow. So Iaguz doesn't get a scout on this. This isn't his Widowmine build. He doesn't get out on the map at all.
This actually killed Iaguz last time when Arthur threw this up against him. And it really, really looks so strong. So will Blysk be able to pull that up again? He's got all the tools.
Yeah.
That's how handy is he with them? He's
got a good setup for it as well. Like, Iaguz doesn't have this information. He hasn't been out on the map. He hasn't been picking things off. All he's done is scout this proxy oracle. So this is really well chosen for Blysk. He could get some serious damage done here.
And against Blink, he's not going to have Stim. He doesn't even have Tech Labs on his barracks, which means no Marauders. He's only just dropping his Tech Lab now. And he scans and sees there's no natural. So now Iaguz, has to drop this extra bunkers. He knows that a big one-base attack's coming here.
Alarm bells are ringing, man. He's like, oh, man, you're kidding? You don't have a Nexus?
Some choice words in Iaguz's mouth.
Yeah.
He's a well-spoken gentleman, that Iaguz.
He certainly is. Yes, I'll sugarcoat it quite heavily for the cast.
PC. So some nice Blink positions here because, it's good for Reapers, but also good for Blink. But, I mean, obviously he doesn't have any high ground vision. There's no Mothership Core across the map just yet, and obviously no Observer either. The Marine coming down here, seeing that the Stalkers are going to pressure on this ramp.
All Blysk needs is really just a nose up that ramp, and he is inside that base. All Marines out here. Combat shields on the way.
The Oracle's actually his high ground vision.
But he does still have that alive, so this could go quite well for Blysk. Will he be able to get the damage that he wants done?
Blink's a nice so far, hasn't lost any Stalkers. One Stalker going down. But the pre-pulled SCVs are so powerful on these bunkers. Iaguz is all over this so far. But there is another spot here for Blysk. Iaguz is pulling the SCVs because he knows that he needs to buffer between the Marines and the base. And here he goes. He's going to pressure and kill this gas at least, and then a couple SCVs. But what he really wants is to trade well against this army. Oh, Blysk losing another Stalker here. Blinking now.
Bit of trouble blinking out of this position, actually.
It's not a huge blink sort of launch pad here, but he's managing, keeping a lot of those Stalkers alive. Got actually very decent economic damage, killing 7 SCVs. But that said, though, he is on 1 base. And Iaguz has 2, well, that's a little bit interesting to see those SCVs die, but he has 2 CCs in his main, making SCVs for him.
Yeah, so he'll be fine as long as he doesn't take super amounts of damage against Blysk that will allow him to expand behind us, even if it does get held off. SCV is pulled again. He's backing himself into a corner, though. Now there's some Marauders in the mix as well.
And this Blink position means that Blysk feels very, very confident with his attack. He feels like he's killing us FCCs. He has killed 17. He's knocked Iaguz down to 13 workers with 23 probes back at home. Gets the Oracle at least, so no more high ground vision for Blysk.
Yeah, very nicely done there from Blysk. He does get quite a bit of damage done, and he's not finished yet. He can continue threatening. Even if he doesn't want to commit here, he just sits outside here and stops Iaguz from expanding and getting back where he wants to be. He is going to make a Phoenix, though, to get that high ground vision going for himself once again. And these bunkers no longer being repaired.
Yeah, no repair, so one looking like it may get taken down. No, the SCVs are here just in time to repair. Blysk, much better Blink micro that time, keeps the Stalkers alive and does a lot of damage. And now he has to take the Nexus and follow up because his 1 base isn't going to cut it anymore. It's going to become easier and easier for Iaguz as time goes through. But that said, though, with this Phoenix, as you mentioned, he's going to come back up. There is a Widowmine position, which he hasn't spotted yet. He will now, and there's that Blink cooldown. Goodbye, a whole bunch of Stalkers.
Wow.
And Iaguz should be able to clean this up.
Yeah, that was actually like 2.5 Stalkers he got there. Like one had the socks knocked off it with that Widowmine hit.
The socks knocked off.
So
stealing that phrase.
So Iaguz is looking like he's getting to the point where Protoss isn't that scary anymore. Blysk isn't still warping in or anything anyway. So he's getting towards that moment where he can probably push out. Stim very close to finish as well, and of course he has combat shields. And in the meantime, Blysk does have his Nexus.
And we can see the recovery here, having those 2 CCs and keeping that extra CC alive. Iaguz has already recovered from those worker damage that Blysk has done. Yeah. And now Blysk is there with a 1/3 completed second Nexus. He's still essentially on 1 base.
Yeah, it's pretty tough to come out of this position. I mean, how much damage would he have needed to do so that Iaguz wouldn't be in this position where he's still ahead economically? Sure, he hasn't landed his command center on the low ground yet, but...
Well, now that Stim's done, Iaguz can come down and clean up these Stalkers and take that CC, thankfully. He does scan and see that the Nexus has been taken from Blysk, so it's going to get into a sort of a... No more action here. Iaguz is going to come down, push the Stalkers away, possibly kill them, and then it's going to get into the mid-game here.
Yeah. Okay, he'll be happy to finally start mining on that natural, because that main is getting quite low. We're at almost 13 minutes in the game here.
Yeah.
So he has had a really long time in that 1 base. Blysk has done a great job keeping him contained for the time that he has. And finally, he can start mining at his own Nexus, looking like he's heading towards the later game.
Yeah, dropping the Colossus down there. So going to get up the Colossus again. Really being a staple unit for Blysk, but it's just the mid. Once it gets into the mid to late game, you get to see how powerful Iaguz is and how like he's just been outplaying Blysk in the later game. So the longer this game goes, stuff gets a little bit more awkward for Blysk unless he pulls it and plays a much better game.
Yeah, I'm wondering if he's going to go for a third base again, especially against Iaguz to sort of peel off a few groups of units and try and hit from multiple angles sort of style.
Very bold, aggressive blinks here. When he blinks forward like that, he doesn't have a blink to retreat. So if he got sandwiched there from the high ground, it would be very, very dangerous. So he's really playing with fire with these blinks.
I do like how he's still out on the map with what few units he does have, though, because it stops Iaguz from moving out, makes him a little bit worried. You know, he doesn't have full vision. He can't clean up everything on the map.
He's a Stalker's on at home.
Yeah, he is actually coming in for a drop. Finally, it's been he still manages to do it even at 14 minutes in the game. But let's see how much it gets done. He doesn't have an observer out yet.
No, he has a robo because he's made an immortal, but no observer just yet. And here comes the drop. 2 Widow Mines coming in, 1 for the natural and 1 for the main.
All right, so we'll get one.
Not going to do too much.
There. And 1 on the ramp.
Iaguz.
Oh.
Whoa, he's going to get Sentry here. That's actually a really nice pickup. That's a lot of gas.
That is going to be so annoying for Blysk.
Oh man, I'd be very rustled right now. That one shot, like 1 hit point, Widow Mine there, managing to stay alive after killing a sentry is pretty rustling. And extra, so he's just getting straight into the mid game here, just spending all that money. Look at the macro of Iaguz. He's just so good. He's already 30 supply up on Blysk. A lot of it is army and keeping that money low as well. Moving across with a this is a potentially game-ending push here. He's only got 1 Colossus.
Yeah, he's had to actually stop the production of the second Colossus to get the observer
The Widow Mine hit a bunch of Stalkers. The Stalkers are damaged here. They don't have shields. It's like they've been EMP'd.
Oh, this is so much army from Iaguz. Can Blysk hold on here? He doesn't even have that sentry to buy him time anymore.
He's not going to have Colossus range either. And here we go, a big stim from Iaguz, and this could be it. He could get in the Premier League right here, right now. He's going to take down the Mothership Core. That means no Photon Overcharge, no Colossus, no splash damage, and no more Blysk. GG, grats and good luck, Iaguz.
Wow.
Is going to be our 2nd Premier League player to go along with NXZ with a swift and convincing 3-0 against the Singaporean Blysk.
Rolled over that Protoss, and I mean, wow. I think it was a little bit reversed today. NXZ versus Pig, much closer than we expected, and Iaguz versus Blysk, certainly not as close as we expected it to be, but great games nonetheless. Really exciting play. I hope you guys have been enjoying the games today. We certainly have. We've been pretty
my God,
pumped.
yeah, that first game actually, I mean, we were a little bit sleepy coming in this because I had to get up at the crack of dawn to actually get over here, fly from Adelaide, and Zeph didn't have much sleep either, so that NXZ and Pig matchup certainly woke us all up, and I'm sure if you're watching from the other side of the globe, that kept you up as well. But that is going to be it for the cast here, guys. Huge congratulations to our Premier League players who are at Root Iaguz on the Twitter and at AltNXZ, although I would have to say that he should probably chuck Silicon Sports at the front of that tag at some point. Resin, get onto that. Get your player to fix that up. And we're going to have actually a little bit of a bonus for you guys. We're going to take a little bit of a break and then get into a best of 1 fun match here.
Yeah.
We'll talk a little bit more about that after the break. So don't go away just yet, guys. WCS Cast will continue with Maynard and Zeph. We'll see you soon.